Deflategate, you know what that means. We have to update the NFL tier list we made at the start of the season that got updated on week 4. So let's go ahead and dive into this updated tier list. Okay, so we're going to update this a little bit differently than we did last time. This is the tier list right here that we had at the end of last video. I have been slowly editing this tier list every single week as things have gone on. So I have a target tier list over here that we're going to be basically moving this towards. And let's just go ahead. We're going to start off at the top of the tier list and work our way down the tier list to see if anyone changes, if anyone moves up, anyone moves down. All that fun jazz. In this video, we will also recap the last couple of weeks for these teams, just so y'all get a little update as to how things have been for them and where they stand at this point. Kicking things off with the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have been having a rough last couple of weeks. I mean, they have just not been looking like the Bills of old. And that being said, I mean, they're going to move down the list. I don't see them as Super Bowl contenders. I feel like playoff locks is a really solid place for them. They're going to make the playoffs in the AFC. The AFC is not a strong conference to make the playoffs in. They have the talent level. They should make the playoffs. I can't guarantee much else beyond that, though, for this Buffalo team. Dallas, what do we think of you? You had a huge week this last week against the Rams, but we can't excuse the 3 weeks before this last week where you were absolute garbage. So that being said, you should still lock in the playoffs. But I can't fully guarantee with full confidence say that you are a contender. This season has been weird in the sense that it doesn't feel like anyone's a true contender, but it feels like everyone's a contender. That is the problem with this NFL season, and I think you'll quickly see this problem play out here over the next couple minutes. Oh boy, San Francisco, how things can change. You were looking like the one team that could go 18 or 17-0 and win the Super Bowl. But now you're sitting here taking 3 losses and you're free falling on this list. I don't even know if you're going to be a playoff team. You are dealing with so many injuries. You are not looking as convincing anymore. Brock Purdy looks like he's taking a step back. I mean, you're likely to make the playoffs, but I can't fully guarantee that you will be a playoff team anymore. You're not looking like a team that's going to be making a playoff push, or at least a strong playoff push at this point. Baltimore, I was about ready to have you in Super Bowl contenders, and I did have you there last week. I'm not as sold. I feel like there are some issues within the team after seeing this last week of football, that there are some issues within the team that are just not really looking great for chemistry purposes. OBJ is completely upset with the team. The receiving core is just not looking great right now. Y'all should still make the playoffs. Y'all should be winning the North. But it's tough to have Super Bowl contenders anymore because teams are looking so great one week and then garbage the next. But you guys are probably the closest playoff lock to Super Bowl contender. Detroit, as much as I hate to say it, you're 6-2 and you just had an incredible win, putting up almost 500 yards of total offense against the Raiders, but you only won by 12. Until you can find a way to convert those yards into points consistently and reliably, you are only going to make the playoffs. You are not going to be Super Bowl contenders. Therefore, I cannot say that you are going to be a Super Bowl contender guaranteed. Kansas City, y'all looked really good, and y'all have the Taylor Swift effect. I should move you into Super Bowl contenders, but I don't feel like I successfully can. I feel like there are way too many question marks. If Taylor's not in attendance, you don't play well. And that's just plain fact. I don't know if she was in the game yesterday, but I would bet money that she was not at the game yesterday. Y'all played like garbage against the Broncos. That team is not known for anything being great in Denver. So you're going to make the playoffs, but once again, it's tough to classify you as a true Super Bowl contender right now because you just feel off. You feel like you're like the Walmart brand of the Chiefs. You don't feel like you're the name brand Chiefs. You feel like you're the great value. Miami, similar situation. You feel like the great value Dolphins. You can be the best team ever, but then whenever you play against real teams like Kansas City, like Detroit, like Baltimore, you go up against any of these teams up in that playoff locks tier, you are going to fold. And there's no question about it. So y'all will beat up against the garbage teams at the bottom of the list, but you will not play up to the good teams. That is why you are going to make the playoffs, because you will beat up badly on bad teams, but you choke when it comes to good teams. That leaves us with the only unupdated team in playoff locks, and that's the Eagles, and you guys are coming up to the top. Y'all are finding ways to win games. They're not the prettiest wins, but you are finding ways to win them. You're doing it all on your own. You are managing to find a way to get the win, even when the win doesn't look like it's going to be well-deserved. Y'all have had a couple of sloppy wins, but you have been winning with grit. You are finding ways to win games, and you are like the Vikings of last year. You're finding ways to win them close, but you feel like you're a stronger version of the Vikings from last year, if you know what I mean. Y'all feel like you are just a tier above the rest right now with finding ways to win. Cleveland, you're a likely playoff team still, just because that defense can carry you in a weak AFC. Now, I'm not 100% sure that you are going to guaranteed make the playoffs, but I feel pretty confident. I feel like you are the best team around 500 in the AFC right now because you just have a strong defense. Your offense is a little hit or miss, but your defense can carry you. Oh boy, how times can change. Green Bay, you are free falling down to needing a miracle. I'm almost tempted to put you as top draft pick, but I still feel like Jordan Love still has something he can show. And this is being a little generous because Jordan Love has not looked good the last few weeks at all. He is looking very bad, very brutal, very rough. He's looking very raw. And with a raw quarterback like that, you're not going to be carried to the promised land like that. So Jordan Love, until he gets his act together, which is going to take a miracle, y'all are under needs a miracle. Houston, as much as I hate to say it because I really want you guys to succeed, y'all are moving down to possible playoff team just because I feel like the team is letting CJ Stroud down. CJ Stroud is playing well, but the team is making mistakes around CJ Stroud. That was evident this last week in their last loss. CJ Stroud played a clean game. He didn't really wow the charts in the yards, but he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make any egregious errors. He played generally clean football, but the team made mistakes around him. So unless CJ Stroud is able to pull off a Justin Herbert-style carry job, they ain't going to do well. And that's just the plain reality. And I hate to say it because I've been a big fan of CJ Stroud this season. Tampa Bay, I had you going into this week at needs a miracle. You're only moving down now to possible playoff team just because Baker Mayfield is playing some of the best football. And he always has played, in his career, he's always played some of his best football when he is the underdog. When everybody is counting him out, he plays out of his mind like crazy. And that is why I see them as a possible playoff team. People are counting the Bucs out of the playoffs. They're saying the Buccaneers are falling apart. They're collapsing. They're breaking at the seams. This is where Baker Mayfield is going to turn things around in Tampa and make things work. He will find a way. He always does when he's the underdog. Just you watch. Arizona, what kind of crack did you let me smoke to think y'all are a possible playoff team? Y'all are kindly going down under needs a miracle. You need Kyler Murray to be the literal incarnate of a superhuman being to carry you to the promised land. That it ain't even funny. Now, I feel like your defense and your first half effort is going to do enough to bail you out of being a top overall pick. But if you keep dropping games like this and looking unconvincing, you're going to drop even further. I probably had every right to drop you in the top draft pick. But I feel like your first half effort is going to hold you out of that. Indianapolis, you're going to stay put under possible playoff teams. Minshew Mania is still working its magic. The defense is looking well. Y'all are playing close games. You lost to the Saints. It was a tough loss. But you have potential. The offense is putting up points on the board. The defense is just struggling to secure the deal week in and week out. Okay, Los Angeles, you need a miracle. Matthew Stafford's injured. You're looking awful. If Stafford stays out of the game for an extended period of time, y'all are going to fall down this list even further. Y'all are not looking great. Your offense is slowing down significantly. Your defense is still doing something, but it's tough whenever your offense is constantly 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, that it does not even make it look close. So it's a tough one for the Rams, but they are genuinely falling down this list with a valid reason behind it. Meanwhile, Jacksonville, you're coming up this list because y'all are looking good. Y'all are looking scary. I don't want to secure you as a playoff lock just yet. I want to see you continue this momentum rolling further where you can get a bigger lead in the division. But I still feel like you are looking really good, really fast, and y'all are looking like a scary team to be going up against heading down this next stretch. New Orleans, you're finding ways to stay close in games. You're finding ways to win about half of them. And with the NFC being the way it is, I feel like you have decent odds at making the playoffs just because of the fact that you're looking fairly solid right now. Now, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to make it, but you are looking right now like a team that is built to potentially make a push into the playoffs with your current roster. New York Jets, you're going to stay under possible playoff teams just because Wilson can work his magic, but, you know, he hasn't recently. He's looking more focused. and he's looking more poised, but he is just not doing enough to win you games right now. Maybe in a couple weeks' time, things will be different, and Wilson will have won you guys a couple of games, but right now, it is your defense that is keeping you in it. Wilson just needs to be semi-competent to not lose you the game, which he ain't losing you games anymore, which is big. Seattle, you're moving up. You're playing really good football. You are finding ways to win games. You found a way to come back against the Browns in an unlikely way. Y'all are looking really scary right now in the NFC, and I would not want to be facing you if I had you guys on the schedule coming up. Which, shoot, the Rams still have the schedule coming, or Seahawks on the schedule coming up in a couple weeks. Well, at some point in the rest of the season. I don't know exactly what week off the top of my head, but I know it's coming up. Atlanta, you're staying under needs a miracle. You had to bench Desmond Ridder for Marcus Mariota. Y'all are in limbo land right now. Bijan Robinson can't carry you anymore because teams know that Bijan had to carry you. So now if teams are going to stop Bijan, y'all are going to get stopped easily. So that being said, you're staying under needs a miracle because you don't have anything else besides Bijan. Meanwhile, talking about a team that's come to form, the Cincinnati Bengals completing the NFC West gauntlet, going 4-0 against the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Niners. And Joe Burrow is looking like he is back. Y'all are looking like a likely playoff team right now. Y'all are starting to rebound, but I want to see you guys get some wins against other opponents from other divisions and conferences before I fully lock you in as a playoff team this year, Cincinnati. Make me do that here in the next couple weeks. I want to see. Los Angeles, you're staying under needs a miracle for the fact that you need to get your act together. Y'all are starting to play a little bit better football, but y'all are looking on the far outside looking in. You gotta get yourself back into it right now. You are one of the worst records in the AFC. Keep that in mind. One of the worst records in the AFC. Y'all are looking like a better team at that record point of 2-6 or 2-5, I think you are. One of the two, but anyway, y'all are looking like a solid team for that record, but you are that record, and you need to get over the hump. You need to start getting wins. You need to start generating more production out of your players if you want to be looking at making further playoff pushes. Las Vegas, welcome to torture. You're going down to top draft pick because y'all are playing like garbage. Y'all aren't looking good at all. And offensively, you are leaving a lot to be desired. Devontae Adams is disgruntled with the team, actually having just walked off before even getting into the middle to, shake hands after the game. No, he went right home right after the game because he's disgruntled with the organization. He also dropped a key pass, but he is just disgruntled in general with the organization as well because they are struggling so much. Minnesota, you're coming down here too, especially after the Kirk Cousins Achilles injury. That is brutal. Y'all are looking like a team right now that might be making a play for a top quarterback in the draft because of that injury. You weren't playing well beforehand, but now losing your guy like that is going to hurt even more. That is how brutal it is. In Minnesota, I am sorry for you, but you gotta move down the list. Giants, you're going to stay put because you need help. You need a miracle. You can still make a push. But Daniel Jones has to come back looking like the best quarterback he has ever looked like in his career, which is possible, but I don't see it as guaranteed being likely. So I still feel like you can do it, but you need a strong miracle to make a comeback. Pittsburgh, I'm moving you up to possible playoff team because Steeler football always finds a way. No matter what, no matter how garbage, no matter how bad your teams are, you manage to always find a way to BS your way to an undeserved 500 record, which could be very well enough to make the playoffs in the AFC. Now, Kenny Pickett being out is a setback, or potentially being out, but anyway, I digress. The Steelers look like a team, especially with getting Cam Hayward back soon. The 21-day window to activate him has opened before this last week. Y'all are looking like you're going to be getting scary down the stretch, and pair that with Steeler football, and y'all are going to be looking like a tough team to beat in December because you're going to be trying to BS your way back to 500. Washington, I'm also moving you up because, oh boy, Sam Howell, my dude. Sam Howell is why. He's looking solid. He's looking good. He's looking great. He just really put up a massive day against Philadelphia. And this team, they play up to the good teams. They play down to the bad. If they can stop playing down to the bad, which is very possible for any team, they can immediately make themselves playoff contenders. They just got to get some focus against bad teams. Now, everyone down in top draft pick is staying there with one exception. Yeah, the Patriots had a big win. Yeah, the Broncos had a big win. But I still feel like these teams are rightfully down here for a reason. Even the Panthers with their massive win. But Tennessee, you had a lot of optimism this week. You started the rookie Will Levis. He looked good. He looked really good. You got to keep rolling with it. Keep Tannehill benched. Keep starting Will Levis. Y'all are looking good with him. Keep him rolling. Get him the experience. He is ready. He wants to take this offense over, and he is fully ready to do it with this team. Now, I don't see them actually making any big playoff pushes because they need a miracle of everyone to turn the clock back 10 years, except for Will Levis because he'd then be in middle school at that time, if that. But anyway, you need him to turn back the clocks for everyone else, and then you can be talking potential playoff push. But right now, y'all need a miracle, but you are looking a bit better than you were 4 weeks ago. Well, that's about going to do it for me today. If you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe. It does help me out a whole lot. At the time of recording, we are only 6 clicks of that subscribe button away from the big old 400 subscribers. So if you can help me out on that, that would be absolutely amazing. But anyway, if you haven't already, make sure that you check out some more past streams down here. And I guess make sure I'll see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.